Hey, good day to all of my ascended sisters, to all of us who are ascending and retiring and enjoying our lives. I hope you are having a fantabulous day. I started this video the other day. I wanted to talk about this subject, but I felt like it was actually I completed a video, but I felt like it was a little rushed. I felt rushed. And so I decided to talk about this again. And I'm not exactly sure where to start. I'm not real good at planning these videos out. And as you might be able to tell, I don't come on to talk very often or randomly about things. Usually there's something on my mind that I feel like or on my chest I need to get off, right? So join me today. I want to talk about those of us who are considering moving abroad, who have been looking into this whole move abroad, solo travel / expat life, possible expat life, okay? But first, if you're new here, I'm Sabongale, and this is We Don't Retire. We ascend because to retire means to retreat or to pull back, and we have no intentions of doing that. We will ascend, we will soar to even higher heights. And I'd like to talk more about Black women aging in the 21st century, right? Sometimes we are kind of left out of the equation when we talk about the future of the world and the future of the country, the future of the people or whatever. Sometimes Black women kind of get left behind, and I think as we age, we feel a little less useful. I guess that's a lot of people who are aging, right? But particularly for us Black women, sometimes as we age, unless we are constantly doing things for other people, right? Our spouses, our grandchildren, our church, et cetera, then we don't really see ourselves or see a place for ourselves outside of those arenas. But I want to talk about those things here on this channel, and I hope you'll join me again. And speaking of our place, this last week has been a whirlwind. As we all know by now, President Joe Biden has decided not to run for re-election, and he has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris, a Black and South Indian or South Asian woman, American, for the presidency. And so we're all excited about that. I know I am. I don't want to really get into a whole lot about politics, but because of the volatile nature, because of the craziness of the election this year, right? Because of the craziness of the election this year, prior to Vice President Harris being endorsed, right, by almost everybody. Prior to that, the race for the presidency this year has just been crazy, right? And we know why. I'm not going to mention any names, but we know why. And so a lot of people are energized and enthusiastic about Ms. Harris being endorsed and announcing her intention to run for president. So I'm excited about that. However, prior to that, because of the craziness, right, of the election this year, there's been a lot of talk about rushing to get out of the United States, because a lot of people feel, and it's all over, a lot of us feel like, what is the world coming to? There's so much happening, so much going on. People don't respect one another anymore. American politics has become this kind of circus, right? And on top of that, we just had a sister Sister Sonia, who lost her life, another senseless murder by the police in, I think it's Springfield, Illinois, somewhere, Springfield, Illinois, somewhere near there. This young sister was shot in the face. I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom. And because of these kind of things, more and more we are just worried and full of anxiety about being in this country. And so those of us who have thought about moving abroad, who want to move abroad, who dream about moving abroad or living in another country, the anxiety around that is like grown. And lately I've seen a lot of YouTubers who promote expat life have really been just really ramping up their, ramping up their call to, hey, it's time to get out. It's time to get out of this country now, right? And I know a few years ago, well, in the 2016 race, when what's his name first became president, my husband and I, we were considering leaving then, right? But now it's really feeling, although with Vice President Harris's endorsement and intention to run in this year's election, has made me a little more hopeful. But for a long time, I've wanted to leave this country, right? For a long time, I've always thought it would be nice to live in another country and experience another culture, okay? From all reports, right? And I'll tell you, I started listening to a lot of Black expat YouTubers during the pandemic, right? During the pandemic, I had more time because we were quarantined, plus I started working from home. So there was more time for me to watch YouTubers talk about how wonderful it is to live in some of these other places, right? You spend less money, you have all of this cultural experience. And so that really, really made the desire to leave this country even more intense, right? But even before the pandemic, 100 years ago, when I was coming out of high school and I was reading about the expat writers, of course I'm a writer, but I was reading about expat writers like James Baldwin, Gertrude Stein, Ernest Hemingway, and all of these writers, Richard Wright, all of these writers who left the U.S. to live in other countries pretty much for the same reasons that we are wanting to leave now, right? Just to be recognized and to be treated more humanely, right, as citizens of this country. And so a lot of them left this country for a lot of the same reasons that we want to leave now. But ever since then, this was like in the late 70s, 80s, when I started reading about these writers who lived in other countries. And ever since I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to live in another country. So for a long time, I've entertained that thought and never thought that it was a possibility, right? Until here in my later years, right, closer to retirement. I wish I had stayed on it back then. I probably would have already been gone. But now that it's later in my years, right, I've retired, and I've settled. Now I'm settled. I have a home. I have a car. I have a lifestyle, or what have you. I still want to go, but I know for me, it's not quite that time yet, right? It's not quite time. I have some other right now. Not all my ducks are in a row. But I know they say your ducks will never be in a row. That's what Michael Bernard Beckwith says. Your ducks will never be in a row. They will never be in a row. But I have my own reasons. I know that you all have your reasons for not being able to leave just yet, right? Maybe not now, right? Maybe later. But I know everybody's getting all excited because of this crazy election and these crazy politicians, and everybody's saying, hey, and the crazy police, everybody's saying, hey, this is the time to get out now while you can, because at some point you may not have an opportunity, right? It's like now or never. And I just want to address that because I know, especially a lot of us who are 60 plus, some of us have children, some of us have spouses who are not necessarily on board with the idea of leaving this country. We have children that we are still either raising, grandchildren that we are either raising or helping with. We have parents, aging parents that we are still helping with that maybe aren't, interested in leaving this country for various reasons. Not everybody will be able to leave, right? And I think when we watch these videos about people leaving the country, everybody's leaving, everybody's going, everybody's able to just sell everything, sell the house, sell the car, drop the kids off, whatever, and pick up and go to other countries. You can find ways to make money online. You can travel on a budget and get free accommodations while traveling by house sitting. There's a lot of ways to do it, right? But myself and a lot of women like me, we know that it's not always as easy to just pick up when you have these other circumstances, right? But it's hard to watch these videos, right? Do you agree? It's hard to watch these videos and know that, wow, everybody's leaving. You see these fabulous videos on Instagram about all of these exotic and wonderful places, and sisters are just out there living their life, living their dream, living your dream, right? Sometimes I feel like they live in my dream. But for whatever reason, that right now it's not possible for you, okay? Or you're trying to figure out how it's possible for you. What can I sell? How soon can I get rid of this? How soon will my child be out of college and I can rely on him to take care of himself or herself while I'm gallivanting around the world? And so I'm just here to say, hey, let's retreat, let's retire from the anxiety of feeling like we have to keep up with everybody else, because guess what? You don't, right? It gets hard sometimes to watch these videos, and maybe we might need to take a YouTube break. We might need to take a YouTube break, right? At least from those videos that make us feel like we're missing out on something. And this is not necessarily just the fear of missing out. We know we have these dreams and ideas that we want to do, and maybe you're even still working a job and you can't leave yet, and all kinds of things, right? But that it's not quite time, that you can't quite do it just yet, right? Or maybe never. And that's okay. Guess what? Everybody won't be leaving the U.S. It's going to be a lot of us still here after the election. We'll still be here, right? And I'm also here to say, you know what? If you are one of the many who don't get to leave the country in time, right, for this big whatever is about to happen. Some people say that we are in 1930s Germany, 1940s Germany, or something like that. And you feel like, oh, wow, I got to hurry up and get out. No, you don't. You don't have to, because guess what? You can make a beautiful life no matter where you are. If you believe like I do that all of my needs are met and that I am divinely protected, it doesn't matter what's going on around us. We can be happy. We can have a fulfilling life. We can have a fulfilling retirement right where we are, okay? Leaving the country is not the only way to enjoy your life. It's just not. It's nice, but how about traveling around this country? There's some places here. I have a trip coming up next month. I'll tell you about it later, but I have a trip coming up next month to do a kind of a bucket list thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time. But there are plenty of things, even in my state. I tell people there's so much to do, probably in your state too. But I know in the state of Georgia, there's so much to do. There's so many things all over this I mean, it's a big state, and we have a coast on top of that, a coastline on the Atlantic Ocean. So there are plenty of things to do. Whatever your hobbies are, whatever your pastimes are that don't necessarily involve a lot of other people. There are other things that you can do to make your life a beautiful life right here, right? I'm a firm believer in meditation, although I'm not as consistent as I should be. I'm working on it. But we must know and we must believe and we must trust that the universe is going to do its thing, right? Everything is in divine order, whether you believe it or not. It just is. And we have to trust that things will work out the way that they are supposed to work out, even for us. But we can't go through our lives wishing that we can do what somebody else is doing. We certainly don't want to be envious of anybody. For all of those sisters who are able to leave this country and live their lives and feel like they have a better life somewhere else, I'm so excited for you, because yes, I would like that life too, but I just know it's not about to happen in that way right now. But in the meantime, we have to choose to be happy. We have to choose happiness, right? I used to work at this New Age book distributor many years ago, right before New Age was popular and before it was cool. And there were a couple of books, and I always remember those titles. One is Happiness is a Choice. And the other one is, oh my gosh, I don't know why I can't ever remember the other title, but Happiness is a Choice is the message, right? You can choose. You can choose. You can be miserable and depressed and angry and sad or whatever because you can't do what somebody else is able to do. Or you can decide, you know what? I'm happy. I'm just happy. Just be happy just cause, right? How they say today is a good day to have a good day. It's a good day to have a good day. It's a good day to be happy. And don't feel left out of anything, right? Don't feel like there's something going on that you need to be a part of, that it may not be meant for you to leave, right? And again, everybody's not going anywhere. Some of us are going to stay here, and I'm going to keep walking in my yard and doing my grounding work until that's no more, until I don't have a yard anymore, until I don't know what could possibly happen that would take all of this away. But I have a nice home. I have a comfortable home. I have a decent car. I can get around and go do the things that I want to do. I still have some semblance of an income, not what it was when I was working, but I still eat very good, and I can attest to that because I've not lost a pound in retirement. And in fact, I've probably lost a couple of pounds, so I'm eating just fine. And life just kind of goes on, right? I'm writing more now than I have in a long time, which is great for me because that's what I really want to be doing. And I'm even publishing. I published a book. I don't have my book on me right now. I can't get up to go get it, but it's now about that budget, Contemplations, Meditations, and Affirmations on how to at least start thinking about creating a budget. So, I mean, I have all these things going on. I'm reading this fabulous book called What You Leave Behind. I'm writing a review on that shortly. But just find ways to be fulfilled no matter what. And you know what, back in the church, they used to say, if God never blesses me another day, if I never get another blessing, I've already been so blessed. Right? Think of what you already have. Think of what you've already been given. Think of all of the achievements that you've made, all of the battles that you fought and won. Girl, please. We have so much to be thankful for, right? And there's nothing that a Republican or a Democrat can do that will change that. It's just not, right? I've done well during times when Republicans were in office. I've done well when Democrats were in office, and I've done bad on both, right? It just depends. what was going on in my own life had nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans, right? And you will do okay too. You will be okay. I guarantee you, you will be okay. So yeah, don't let these folks running and leaving the country bother you. Don't worry them. Don't worry them. Okay? Let them go have their fun, and we're going to have fun right here. Now, that's not to say I won't ever go. I still plan on leaving. I don't know when that's going to be. I still plan on leaving. In fact, I've got a couple trips planned this year so far. I've got a couple trips planned this year. That's not to say that you can't go places and travel. You don't have to leave completely. You can travel. You can go to other places and enjoy those places, right? But I'm talking about those of us who, really kind of had our hearts set on leaving this country and good riddance to the U.S., right? Yes, it's the cost of living here is ridiculous. Yes, the healthcare industry is ridiculous, right? I made an appointment for a new doctor. I was trying to get an appointment for a new doctor. I made the appointment in March. I can't get an appointment until August. And that won't even be with the actual doctor. That's with the physician assistant. I won't be able to see the real doctor or the actual doctor until January. Okay? I spent an hour on the phone yesterday with the Social Security office because, yes, I'm trying to get my Social Security. I'm trying to get everything I'm supposed to get. Spent an hour on the phone with them yesterday just to get a phone appointment for today. And guess what? That appointment was canceled, but I wasn't informed. So I waited 2 hours for this phone call that I was supposed to get. Okay? Called again, waited 40 minutes just to talk to someone, just to find out what was going on with the appointment. Was able to get a couple questions answered, but I still won't have my appointment until July 30th. That's basically just to talk to someone at Social Security. Okay? So yeah, I mean, all of those things are a factor in this country. Yes, healthcare is crazy. Government services are crazy, but guess what? I'm going to get some government service in this country, right? Other people may get theirs in other countries, but I get what I'm entitled to in this country because I've lived and worked in this country all my life. So, but hey, the thing is, I'm getting it. Yes, healthcare, housing, all of that is expensive, but guess what? It's paid. It's being taken care of. So I'm good. I'm good. Are you good? Let me know in the comments. Are you good? And you know what? I forgot to ask you to please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, hit like for this video, and share it with someone who you know really wants to leave the country and they're getting kind of bummed out because they know they can't do it right now, right? Some of us are taking our time. Some of us are leaving right away. But if you know a lady, if you know a black or brown woman who is ready to just get out of the U.S., but kind of bummed out because it's just not happening as fast as they want it to, or it may never be able to happen at all due to whatever circumstances are going on in her life, share this video with her and tell her, girl, don't worry them. You're going to be okay. We all are going to be just fine. Okay. So hit like, subscribe to my channel, and also check the description. In the description, I put a link to my book, now about that budget. If you are interested in just getting in the mindset of trying to fit, if you really want to leave this country and you're trying to budget your money, this little book will give you an idea of how to just get your mind right so you can budget, right? I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money, right? Except I might suggest that you invest and stop spending so much. But it will at least put you in the mindset for how to start creating that budget in order to do whatever it is you want to do, whether that's move abroad or anything else, right? And in the meantime, choose happiness. Choose happiness. Be happy just where you are. Be happy just because, okay? Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good day.